Two black guys are strolling along at a state fair. They come upon a gypsy's tent with a sign in front that reads, "Turn white for only $15. The black guys look at each other and figure, why not? Should be good for a laugh. They go through their pockets. One comes up with only $10, but his buddy has a 20. "I've got it," the first guy says. "Take your 20 and go in there, then come back with the 5 and change and I can go in." The second guy agrees and walks into the tent. Several minutes go by. The first guy is getting antsy. Suddenly, the flap of the tent opens and out walks the most perfect Aryan specimen of a man you ever did see. Tall, well-built, great posture, pale skin, blue eyes, and hair like golden flax. He's even wearing a new suit. The first black guy is ecstatic. "No way, it worked. Here, give me that $5 so I can do it too." The white guy looks at him and says, "Sorry, pal, find your own way. Get a job or something." An 80-year-old man decided to explore the world of technology and got himself a brand new smartphone. Excited to share this experience with his wife, they both ordered coffees at a trendy cafe. When the smartphones arrived, the man carefully unwrapped his device, handed it to his wife, and said, "This is for you, my dear." People in the cafe couldn't help but notice the old couple's exchange, and whispers filled the air. A young tech-savvy guy, intrigued by their interaction, approached the couple, offering to buy another smartphone so they could both have one. Smiling warmly, the old man declined, saying, "We've been sharing everything since our youth, young man. It's the secret to a long and happy marriage." The young guy looked at the elderly woman, who hadn't touched the smartphone yet, and insisted, "But why not have one each? It's more fun that way." The elderly woman chuckled and explained, "We take turns, you see. He gets the phone today, and tomorrow it'll be my turn." The young man, puzzled, asked, "Why not use them together?" The old man winked and said, "Well, she's waiting for her turn to read the manual."
In a quirky town, a guy named Tim was on the brink of eviction and desperately needed money for rent. Determined to showcase his unique talent, Tim decided to enter talent shows with his ferret, Furry, who could juggle tiny balls with its tiny paws. After countless rejections, Tim finally got the golden ticket to audition for a famous talent show. In Hollywood, the producer instructed him to let Furry showcase its juggling skills. Tim, confident in his ferret's abilities, set up a tiny juggling arena on stage. Furry, however, seemed disinterested, batting the balls away rather than juggling them. The producer sighed and gave Tim one more chance, warning him that time was running out. Tim, nervous but hopeful, tried again. This time, Furry managed to juggle for a few seconds, but then chaos ensued. Balls flew in all directions, and Furry ended up chasing them instead of gracefully juggling. The producer, less than impressed, shook their head and told Tim that this wasn't what they were looking for. As they left the audition center, Furry looked up at Tim with a mischievous glint in its eyes and seemed to mutter, "Maybe I should have stuck to acrobatics." Tim burst out laughing, realizing that his ferret's antics had a sense of humor that even the producer couldn't resist.
A professor was traveling by boat. On his way, he asked the sailor, "Do you know biology, ecology, zoology, geography, physiology?" The sailor said no to all his questions. The professor replied, "What the hell do you know? On Earth, you will die of illiteracy." After a while, the boat started sinking. The sailor asked the professor, "Do you know swimminology and escapology from sharkology?" The professor said, "No, sailor." The sailor retorted, "Well, sharkology and crocodilology will eat your asology, headology, and you will dieology because of your mythology." The moral of the story is, don't be a smartass. A girl came skipping home from school one day. "Mommy!" she yelled. "We were counting today, and all the other kids could only count to 4, but I counted to 10. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. "Very good," said her mother. "Is it because I'm a brunette, Mom?" "Yes, dear, it's because you're a brunette," her mother replied. The next day, the girl came skipping home again. "Mommy, Mommy, we were saying the alphabet today, and all the other kids could only say it to D, but I said it to G, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, G." "Very good," said her mother. "Is it because I'm a brunette, Mom?" "Yes, pumpkin. It's because you're a brunette," her mother affirmed. On the following day, the girl excitedly rushed home. "Mommy, Mommy, we were in gym class today, and when we showered, all the other girls had flat chests, but I have these." She lifted her tank top to reveal a pair of 36Cs. "Very good," said her slightly embarrassed mother. "Is it because I'm a brunette, Mom?" "No, honey, it's because you're 25, her mother replied, embarrassed. Frankenstein wanted to find out which of his monsters was the strongest, so he organized a little competition. The monster that could lift the heaviest object with ease would be declared the winner. The first monster went and returned after 10 minutes, holding a massive boulder effortlessly. Frankenstein was impressed and asked, "How did you manage that?" The monster replied, "Do you see that mountain? I went there and brought back this boulder." "Excellent," said Frankenstein. The second monster went and came back after 5 minutes, carrying a giant tree trunk effortlessly. Frankenstein was amazed and asked, "How did you do it?" The monster replied, "Do you see that forest? I went in and brought back this tree trunk." "Wonderful," said Frankenstein. Now, the third monster went and returned just after 1 minute, covered in dirt and scratches. Frankenstein couldn't believe his eyes and asked, "How did you do that?" The monster replied, "Do you see that? I didn't actually see anything. I got lost, tripped over a rock, and this tree branch fell on me. But hey, it's heavy." Santa Claus wanted to determine which of his reindeer was the fastest, so he organized a little competition. The reindeer that could complete a lap around the North Pole in the shortest time would be declared the winner. The first reindeer went and returned after 10 minutes, panting but with a triumphant look. Santa asked, "How did you manage that?" The reindeer replied, "Do you see that shortcut through the snowy hills? I took that route and finished quickly." "Impressive," said Santa. The second reindeer went and came back after 5 minutes, looking energetic. Santa was intrigued and asked, "How did you do it?" The reindeer replied, "Do you see that frozen river? I skated along it, making the journey shorter." "Fantastic," said Santa. Now the third reindeer went and returned just after 1 minute, out of breath and a bit disheveled. Santa couldn't believe it and asked, "How did you do that?" The reindeer replied, "Do you see that? I got a little confused, took a detour, and, well, here I am. But I ran really fast." Two aging friends, both passionate about football, sit on a park bench watching kids play soccer. Their conversation drifts to the topic of heaven. "I hope there's football in heaven," one says. "Playing the beautiful game for all eternity would be amazing." His friend nods. "It sure would. A paradise for football lovers." The next day, tragedy strikes as one friend passes away. Devastated, the remaining friend returns to the park bench. That evening, he hears a voice in the breeze. "Hey, it's me," the voice says. Overjoyed, he asks, "Is that really you? What's heaven like?" "I've got great and not so great news. The great news is there's football in heaven," the voice says. Ecstatic, the friend asks, "What could be the bad news?" "Well, the not so great news is you're the referee for every match."
A passionate environmentalist stands outside a popular steakhouse, vehemently protesting meat consumption. A hungry woman approaches, seeking entry, but the activist blocks her path, exclaiming, "Meat is murder!" The woman pleads for access, mentioning her intense hunger, but the protester remains firm. Desperation sets in as the woman realizes this steakhouse is her only dining option for miles. Determined to get inside, she proposes a deal to the activist. "I'll buy you a vegetable-packed salad, and if you enjoy it, you stop protesting." The activist reluctantly agrees, and they enter the steakhouse. Inside, the woman orders salads for both. Surprisingly, the activist relishes the fresh, crisp vegetables and admits, "I never thought vegan food could be this good." She excuses herself to the restroom, trusting the woman's sincerity. However, the woman, still famished, decides to order a steak for herself. As she leaves the steakhouse, she notices the manager smirking. Ignoring it, she steps outside and is greeted by an unexpected sight. A group of cows peacefully grazing in a nearby field, seemingly unaware of the irony.
A corporate executive arrives at the gates of heaven, and God queries, "What's your biggest sin?" The executive confidently replies, "I've never sinned." God, omniscient, smirks, "I see the truth. I know about the embezzlement." The executive, desperate, interrupts, "Please, God." God offers a choice. Spend 1 day in both heaven and hell, then decide where to stay forever. Eager, the executive enters heaven, welcomed by singing angels and a modest house. But boredom sets in quickly. Next, he descends into hell, stunned to find opulent streets lined with luxury cars and 5-star hotels. Satan, in a sleek sports car, insists hell is paradise. The executive is torn. God asks for a decision. "Take me to hell," he pleads. Teleported there, he's met with an endless plane of fire. Bewildered, he questions Satan, who casually responds, "Yesterday, we were campaigning. Today, you voted." The executive realizes the devilish twist in his quest for eternal paradise.
A cunning lawyer, intrigued by a rumor about a miraculous healer, approaches a renowned but arrogant physician known for his exorbitant fees. The lawyer proposes a deal. If the doctor can cure his mysterious ailment, he will pay him a hefty sum of $1 million. However, if the doctor fails, the lawyer demands a payment of $50,000 from the physician. The doctor, confident in his abilities, agrees to the bet. As the lawyer undergoes a series of treatments, his condition appears to worsen, leaving him skeptical about the doctor's competence. Frustrated and desperate, the lawyer hatches a plan for revenge. During the final consultation, the lawyer tells the doctor that he has lost his sense of taste, presenting it as an insurmountable challenge. The doctor, realizing the gravity of the situation, admits defeat, claiming he cannot cure the lawyer's condition. Triumphant, the lawyer demands his $1 million. The doctor begrudgingly hands over a check. The lawyer, however, notices an error and exclaims, "This check is for a measly dollar, not $1 million." With a sly grin, the doctor responds, "Looks like your taste buds are working fine. Now pay up $50,000 for wasting my time." The lawyer, caught in his own trap, reluctantly hands over the agreed-upon amount, realizing that he underestimated the doctor's cunning nature. Bob, a quirky inventor with a knack for odd creations, proudly presented his latest invention to the world, the Laugh-O-Matic. This device claimed to generate laughter on command, promising to make even the grumpiest of individuals burst into uncontrollable fits of giggles. Skeptics gathered at the town square to witness Bob's demonstration. Bob, wearing a goofy hat and holding the Laugh-O-Matic, approached a stoic-looking man. With a press of a button, the machine emitted a mechanical laughter sound. The man remained unamused. Bob nervously tried again, increasing the laughter volume. Still, the man's expression remained unchanged. Undeterred, Bob turned to a passing dog and pressed the button. The Laugh-O-Matic produced a bizarre mix of human and dog laughter. The confused dog tilted its head but showed no signs of amusement. The crowd exchanged its skeptical glances. Feeling the pressure, Bob scanned the crowd for a last attempt. Spotting an elderly lady, he aimed the device at her and pressed the button. To everyone's surprise, the woman burst into genuine laughter, tears streaming down her face. The crowd erupted into applause, convinced that the Laugh-O-Matic worked its magic. Bob basked in the applause until the elderly lady wiped her tears and said, "Young man, that laughter was real, but it wasn't from your machine. You just reminded me of my goofy grandson. He always makes me laugh."
There was once a missionary preaching in a small African tribe. The people there loved him, and every day more were converted. But one day, a white baby was born to one of the women in the tribe. The chief immediately sent for the missionary and demanded to know why he had broken the commandments he had so lovingly taught to his people. The missionary, having been a devout Christian his entire life, asked to see the child. Upon viewing the baby, it became clear that this baby was an albino. The missionary attempted to explain this to the chief, saying, "Chief, this child suffers from a condition of the skin which changed its color to white. As an example, look upon your flocks of sheep. All are white, except for one which is black." The chief cuts him off, saying, "Okay, I won't tell about the baby if you don't tell about the sheep." A young cowboy walked into a seedy cafe in a small town in West Texas. He sat down at the counter and noticed an older cowboy with his arms folded, staring blankly at a bowl of chili. After about 15 minutes of just sitting there staring at it, the young cowboy bravely asked, "If you ain't gonna eat that, do you mind if I do?" The older cowboy slowly turned his head toward the young wrangler and in his best cowboy manner said, "Nah, go ahead." Eagerly, the young cowboy reached over and slid the bowl over to his place and started spooning it in with delight. He got nearly down to the bottom before noticing a rotten dead rat in the chili. The sight was shocking, and he immediately upchucked the chili into the bowl. The old cowboy quietly said, "Yep, that's as far as I got too. April 1st, and a woman is delivering her first child. It's been a long, intense, and painful labor. Finally, the doctor reaches down, says, 'Give me one big push,' and brings out the baby. Then he slams it on the ground, grabs the umbilical cord, and starts swinging it over his head, lets go, and it flies and slams into the wall. Lady is freaking out. 'Oh my God, my baby, what are you doing? Stop, stop.' The doctor calmly goes to the wall, picks up the baby, looks at the lady and says, 'Hey, chill out. It's an April Fool's joke. I didn't harm your kid. He was already dead when he was born.'